it is. So please repeat after me. We are doing Bhagavad Gita 2.15. Yam hi na vatayante te
Yam hina vyatayante te
purusham purusharshabha
Purusham Purusharshabha
Tama dukha sukhadhiram
Amadukha Sukham Dhiram
So amritatva kalpate
Somratatvaya Kalpate
Yam hi na vatayante te
Yam Hina Vyatayante Te
Purusham purusharshabha
Purusham Purusharshabha
Tama dukha sukham dhiram
Samadukha Sukham Dhiram
So amritatva kalpate
Somratatvaya Kalpate
Yam hi na vatayante te
Yam Hina Vyatayante Te
Purusham purusharshabha
Purusham Purusharshabha
Tama dukha sukham dhiram
Samadukha Sukham Dhiram
So amritatva kalpate
Somratatvaya Kalpate
Anyone would like to chant?
Yam hinam vittayante te
Yam Hina Vyatayante
Te
Purusham Purusharshabha
Purusham
Purusharshabha
Samadukha Sukham Dhiram
Samadukha Sukham Dhiram
So Mrityavaye Kalpate
Somratatvaya Kalpate
Yam hina vyatayante te
Yam Hina Vyatayante Te
purusham purusharshabha
Purusham Purusharshabha
samadukha sukham dhiram
Samadukha Sukham Dhiram
saumritatva kalpate
Somratatvaya Kalpate
Yam hina vyatayante te
Yam
Hina Vyatayante Te
Purusham Purusharshabha
Purusham Purusharshabha
Samadukha Sukham Dhiram
Samadukha Sukham Dhiram
So Amrita Tayo Kalpate
Somratatvaya Kalpate Yam Hina Vyatayante Te
Yam
hina vyatayante te
Purusham Purusharshabha
Purusham Purusharshabha
Samadukha Sukham Dhiram
samadukha sukham dhiram
Somratatvaya Kalpate
So Amrita Tayo
saumritatva
Kalpate
Yam hina vyatayante te
Yam
Yam
hina
Hina Vyatayante
vyatayante te
Te
purusham purusharshabha
Purusham Purusharshabha
samadukha sukham dhiram
Samadukha Sukham Dhiram
somratatvaya kalpate
Somratatvaya Kalpate
Yam hina vyatayanti te
Yam Hina Vyatayante Te
purusham purusharshabha
Purusham Purusharshabha
samadukha sukham dhiram
Samadukha Sukham Dhiram
so amrtatvaya kalpate
Somratatvaya Kalpate
Yam hina vyatayante te
Yam Hina Vyatayante Te
Purusham Purushashabha
purusham
Purusharshabha
Dukkha Sukham Dhairyam
Samadukha Sukham Dhiram
So Amrutattvaya Kalpate
Somratatvaya Kalpate
Anyone else? If not, then we'll go to synonyms. Yam, one to whom.
Yam one to who
One to whom
He,
he
certainly.
certainly
Na,
na
Na
never,
never
never
vetayanti,
Vatayanti
Yatayante
are distressing,
are distressing.
ete,
Ete,
Ete
all
Ete,
these,
all
all
these
purusham,
Purusham
to a
Purusham
person,
to a person,
purusha shabha,
Purusharshaba,
Purushabha
O best among man,
or best
best
among men,
among men.
tamaha,
Samaha
Yamaha
unaltered,
Unaltered
unaltered,
unaltered.
dukha,
Dukha
Dukha
in distress,
in distress
distress.
sukham,
Sukham
Sukham
and happiness,
and
and happiness.
dhiram,
Dhairyam
patient,
patient,
patience.
sa,
sa,
Tam
he,
he,
he
amritatvaya,
amritatvaya,
Anatataya
for liberation,
for
for
liberation,
liberation.
kalpate,
kalpate,
Kalpate
is considered eligible.
is considered
is
eligible.
considered eligible.
Thank you everyone for reciting the words in word to word. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. Anyone who is steady in his determination for the advanced stage of spiritual realization and can equally tolerate the onslaughts of distress and happiness is certainly a person eligible for liberation. In the Varna Ashram institution, the fourth stage of life, namely the renounced order sannyasa, is a painstaking situation. But one who is serious about making his life perfect surely adopts the sannyasa order of life in spite of all difficulties. The difficulties usually arise from having to sever family relationships, to give up the connection of wife and children. But if anyone is able to tolerate such difficulties, surely his path to spiritual realization is complete. Similarly, in Arjuna's discharge of duties as a Kshatriya, he is advised to preserve even if it is difficult to fight with his family members or similarly beloved person. Lord Chaitanya took sannyas at the age of 24, and his dependent young wife, as well as old mother, had no one else to look after them. Yet, for a higher cause, he took sannyas and was steady in the discharge of higher duties. This is the way of achieving liberation from the material bondage. ॐ अज्ञानं तिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाखाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपा साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथं तं सजीवं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखं वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौरङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभय एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So today, as we have read, what is the verse? Yam hi navatyanti yate purusha shabha sama dukkha sukham dhiram somritatva kalpate. So, does anybody want to tell me who speaks this verse? So we are reading second chapter, I think from last week or 10 days. Does anybody want to tell me who is speaking this verse?
Krishna.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Krishna started speaking on from 2.11, where he start with Ashochan Anva Shochastam Pragyavadam Bhashashe Katasun Agatasun Nanu Shochanti Pandita. So Krishna started speaking at that in 2.11. Then in 2.12 he says like Nataveham Jatu Nasham Natam Neme Janadi Pahavan, where he says that there is first of all he says that you are mourning for those which is not lament, because he tried to tell him the difference between the matter and spirit. And second, in the second verse, just I am not taking completely, just one liner. So from 2.12 actually Krishna speaks this words, and it's also refute the Mayavadi philosophy, where it has been mentioned that these kings, neither you and or these kings, they were existing earlier, they will exist, and they, even if their body will be killed, but they will exist in the future also. And 2.13 is very famous verse, dehino asmin yata dehe kamaram yovanam jara tata dehantra prapte dhiras tatra namuyati. So Krishna says that as the body changes, as the soul change, as we grow up, right? When we were 1 year old we were different, when we are 10 year old we were different. So bodies, that soul, the bodies keep continuously changing. And what happened at the time of death, as the bodies keep continually changing, the soul is similarly souls, what it does is at the end, when our body is invalid at the old age, most of the time it happens at the old age, but it is not that like that. Even we see that people die before that, so their material body they leave before that also. But as it changes, similarly what happened at the time of death, the soul passes from one body to another body. And then as we have learned in yesterday's verse, matra sparsha sukhanteya sitoshna sukha dukkada agama painas nitya samtitikshava bharata. So very nicely Prabhuji also explained that it's a duty, like spiritual duty. Either two examples were given, we also got in the quiz, that as a woman, she will not hesitate to cook in the month of May and June, in the kitchen, because she has to serve the deities, or she has to also give prasadam to his family members. And Pyare Prabhu also specifically mentioned that it is not like very much applicable in US. Now we have heating, cooling, all the system in the home, but in India, and similarly a man of spiritual value will not hesitate to wake up early in the morning and take up his bath even though it is cold. But here also, if we wake up also in the morning, it's not something we are doing extraordinarily, because what happens, we just wake up and we just get the hot shower bath. We don't have to look at the facilities, right? We don't have to switch on the geysers as we do in India, or we put the water in that rod. I think some of you know that we put that rod for heating of the water for bathing, or we put it on the gas, like that. So nothing, we just go right directly in the shower, and that just hot water comes. So much facility, so we should take advantage of this facility to make progress in our spiritual life. So here in this verse, what this verse is saying, Krishna continue from there, and he is trying to explain. So what he says that Purushar Shabha. So he is saying to Arjuna is Purushar Shabha, the best of the man. Certainly, why Arjuna? Does anybody want to know or share their thought why Arjuna has been referred as Purushar Shabha? Because earlier in 2.11 Krishna has said that Nanu Shochanti Pandita, right? You are thinking that you are Pandit, but doesn't look like as you're speaking you are Pandit. So any idea, any guesses why he has been mentioned as Purusha Shabha, the best of the men? Just your thoughts.
Well, he's a great warrior.
Yes.
Best
Yeah, thank you,
among
Mataji.
men.
Yeah, he's a great warrior, and certainly he's a great warrior, definitely, and also he's a friend of Krishna. So you think, right? That's a very, very highest position, right? Friend of Krishna. Krishna, who is Krishna? Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And who can be a man better? If he is a friend of Krishna, who can be better than that man, right? So that's why he has been referred, and also Mataji mentioned that because of he is also the best among the men. He was very great warrior. So because you are best among the men, then why you are distressed? Yet Vetayanti. Vetayanti means we have also discussed in the words, right? It has been mentioned Vetayanti means distress. So why, if you are best among the men, why you are distressed in executing your duty? Hmm? This is, uh, this is not very good, right? If you are best among the men and you also hesitate to do your duty. So actually, what Prabhupada is trying to mention here is that because we should not be disturbed by any of the material condition. As also we learned yesterday, similarly, it's a continuation of that. So any man, if it's the best of the men, he should try to discharge his duty. And what is the duty of a man? Can anybody tell me what is our one duty which we have to perform? So what is our duty? Just single, just single liner. What is our duty?
Can I tell?
Okay.
Can I tell?
Yeah, sure, you can share.
So we have to perform our duty to do Hare Krishna chanting.
What happens after you do Hare Krishna chanting?
So we can go to Krishna and we can do the bhakti.
Thank you, Tulsi, for sharing. So, yes, our duty, Prabhupada says that our duty is to become immortal. So, that's our duty. And how to become immortal is, as mentioned, we can chant and we can go back to Krishna. That's how we become immortal. Actually, we are immortal.
Yeah, I
Because
was
we
going
are
to say, aren't we already immortal?
we are already immortal, but yes, that's what. So we are already immortal, but we are not getting that taste of immortality in, because we are keep continuing, we are keep continuous changing our body. So that case we are not feeling that immortality. So basically immortal here means we get our spiritual body. So when we get our spiritual body, we get our immortality back. Hmm? So that is our duty. So who is the best among the men? He will try to execute his duty and he'll try to become immortal. But the lowest of the men, right, they do not know how to become immortal. Hmm? Amritatva. Amrit means no death. Amritatva means, as we read, liberation. Liberation means liberation from this cycle of the birth and death. As we know, we have if 8,400,000 species of life, we are keep continuously rotating in the cycle of birth and death, coming in this material world, becoming this, becoming that. This is called bhav sagar. So bhav means to become something. I am sometime becoming a rat, a cat, a mouse, or a tree, or a fish, like so many species of life. So actually, Prabhupada says this modern civilization, they do not understand, they do not have this concept that there is definitely a possibility to become immortal. Hmm? So how can I become immortal? Immortality means there will be no more death. So that is called immortality. So Krishna is giving here the formula to us how to become immortal. What happens, we should not be very much thinking about the changing of this material world. So we should not be thinking about more happiness and distress. So happiness and distress, as we know, there is one words, right? I think Narad Muni speaks taseva hetu prayatata kovido na labhyate tatu priyata brahma. So he says that taseva hetu, whatever is there in our destiny, we will definitely get it, because nobody prays for distress. Does anybody pray for distress here? Unless we are Kunti Devi, she prays tatra tatra jagat guru. So nobody prays for the distress, right? Any one of us will never, we are not advanced like Kunti Devi, so we definitely doesn't pray for the distress. But eventually that also comes, right? Nobody can say I'm not distressed, or I don't know what is distress is. So every one of us get happiness and distress. So how it depends? It depends upon our previous past karma, because actually what happens, when we live, we already have created our body for the next life. So how much ever time we have we have spent in this body, and whatever activities we have done, we have already created our next body. I mean, we will be doing, but most of the, if somebody has lived most of the life, let's say, they have lived 3/4 of their life, and there's 1/4, so 3/4 of the life what they have done for that life time duration, they have already started creating their body. So we should not be we should not be thinking so much about the happiness or distress of this material world. That's the first qualification to become immortal. So what happens, right? If we think about more happiness and distance, and if we try to mitigate them, then sometimes we think that, okay, this thing will give me happiness, that thing will give me happiness, that turns out to be different. So, and then we try to remove the distress, but that doesn't turn out that the distress is going away. So we waste a lot of time doing pondering over these things about happiness and distance of this material world. So what it has been mentioned, that we must execute Krishna conscious things. We must not stop the Krishna conscious thing because of our so-called happiness and distress of this material life. That is a qualification of becoming immortal. So if we say, okay, I have so many inconveniences, I cannot execute Krishna consciousness, that's what you call a no for becoming a immortal. So that is not the qualification, or that person cannot is not fit to become immortal, because he is not able to calm, or he is not able to be on a neutral stage of when the happiness and distress comes in material life. So right, that's what Prabhupada is trying to explain here. And what happens, actually, we accept the mortality is birth and death. These things he has started. Spiritual life, definitely, what does actually spiritual life means? To become immortal. So that is the actual meaning of the spiritual life. So whatever we do in our life, that is the spiritual life. So what happens in this case, right? Actually, one of the pastime I'm remembering, you all obviously have heard about Lord Rama. So one time when this Vishwamitra Muni, he came to Lord Rama, he came to Dashrath Maharaj, and he asked, because the demons were disturbing him. And you know what he asked? He asked that you give your sons, and your son will, kill the demon in that way. So when he goes to Dashrath Maharaj, actually Prabhupada says that he is very much capable of punishing these demons, because he just say you die and they can die, because he's so powerful. So but nonetheless he go to the king, because Brahmana's duty is not to fight with the demon, right? It's a responsibility of a king to take care of the Brahmana, so he execute his duty properly. So he goes to as that matter, he goes to Dashrath Maharaj. And then Prabhupada says that Dashrath Maharaj asked him that question. He asked him, are you good, are you having any problem executing your duty towards immortality? Means what? Because the sages always meditate upon spiritual life. So that was the question of Dashrath Maharaj when he asked, because he know what is this Brahmana is doing. This Brahmana is executing the higher purpose of life. What is the higher purpose of life? Is to become immortal, is to go to the Krishna's Dham, or Goloka Vrindavan, or any of the Vaikuntha Dham. So that's what his question is. And then, as we know, right, he take, but that's what I wanted to mention, that has been asked by Dashrath Maharaj, because that's the higher purpose. So do you have any problem executing your duty? That's what he asked. So we have to understand, and also we have to also understand in from the Bhagavad Gita also, like, we should not become a father, should not, I mean, there is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. Let me tell you the complete verse. It says, Guru na sasyat, swajano na sasyat, pita na sasyat, janani sasyat, devam na tatsyan, na patis cha sasyan, na mochayat ya samputeha Mrityutam. So translation for this verse goes, one who cannot deliver his dependents from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master, a father, a mother, a husband, or a worshipable demigod. Actually, these are the responsibilities of the person who, from whom, like, child is dependent on the parents, like mother and father. So we should not unnecessarily become a mother and the father if we cannot provide our child the immortality. That is a very strong verse, and this verse has been spoken by Rishabh Dev. So he says that that's a very strong verse. Actually, he mentions this. It's in fifth canto, fifth chapter, 18th verse. So he says, no, there is no point of becoming a mother and father, or even a husband, or even a spiritual master, if you cannot deliver your dependence. Okay, actually, I think you also know, right? You can, Prabhupada says that, okay, you go on begetting children, but if you can make them all Krishna conscious. So I think also Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also has mentioned, right? He was a Nashtika brahmachari. He was a lifelong brahmachari, but he also mentions, if I can make my children Krishna conscious, then I can go on produce 100 childrens, right? So that is not because what is happening at this that seva, that is a service to the Lord, because the mother and father is creating a devotee child, so that's a service to the Lord. That's a very very important service. Sometimes as a parents, we neglect that service. We think that, okay, a lot of the things are important, let me do this, let me do that, let me do so many things, but we neglect our own child. So it happens with everyone, even me also. So but I think that's a very important opportunity for us to raise our child in Krishna consciousness. As we can learn from Bhakti Siddhantas, he mentioned that, if we can make our child, then we can go on begetting children and make them Krishna conscious. He wouldn't have said that, because that's a service, and that's Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, that is not contrary to the religious principle. That is also using the senses in the service of the Lord. So that's how we need to also try to become immortal, and try to also, if somebody is dependent on us, then we also try to make them Krishna conscious. Also, Prabhupada uses very strong word. So he says that then the parents will be called illicit mother and father. I mean, because we have a principle of no illicit sex, right? But if we cannot make our children, it's all Prabhupada. Sorry if it's very too strong, but Prabhupada also says very strong things. And sometime I think if we hear, then something goes in our head, maybe 1%. So Prabhupada says that this is a illicit mother and father who cannot make their child immortal. Obviously, it also depends on the karma of the child. We cannot, but we can try to give the facility. It doesn't depend all on the parents. Obviously, depend on the karma of the child also. But we should give them the all facility. But rest is we should leave to Krishna. We are not the what you call the controller, right? We cannot control how the child will behave, and the child will be um, teenage, or even more than that, when they become young. Hmm. So here Prabhupada is saying that how we understand this immortality, just as a person is attacked by a fever, right? So fever is it a natural condition? Fever is not a natural condition. Fever is when we are above 98.6 degree, I think, right? 98.6 degree, then that is not a higher condition. So what we do, we counteract. We go to the doctor, and we try to counteract that, and we try to come to the normal position. So our normal position as a soul is, we do not die. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit. So when we discuss in some days 2.20, this verse is there. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit, nayam bhutta bhavita nava bhuya. Ajo nitya shashvatayam purano na hanyate hanya manishri. So when the body dies, the soul doesn't dies. It neither come into being nor will come into being. So it was always existing. So that now what is happening, our soul is immortal, but it is in the mortal body. So that combination itself is not very proper, because if you have seen, nobody wants to die, right? Is there anybody who say, okay, I want to die? Nobody will say. So why we do so many treatment if we get ill? Because we don't want to die. Everybody, right? It's not me, it's not you, it's everybody in this world, right? So many hospitals have been created because we want to counteract with the medicine, and they don't want to die. But that is natural, not for the soul but for the body, because jatasi dhruvam mrityur. So the whole scheme for the, actually, when we say we are learning the Vedic knowledge, we are learning Bhagavad Gita, the whole thing is to become immortal. That is what is the whole thing. And we are all the part and parcel of Krishna. So where we'll go in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna reveals his dham. What is that verse? He says, "Yat katva na nivartante tad dhama param mama." Now, I think. Na tad bhashate suryo, na shashanko na pavaka. So Krishna says that that is my dham. When you will leave that body, you go to that dham. So Shastra is telling us how you become immortal, right? That is the immortality. So to what we should do to execute that immortality is, because Krishna is Sachidananda Vigraha, his body is transcendental. So his body is full of eternal, blissful, and knowledge. But our body is not like that, right? Our body is asat. It's not sat. So when we come to this, when our soul acquiring the material body come to this material world, what happen? We try to come in the grab of Maya, and we try to execute our function. In the vicinity of Maya, like there is one verse in Chaitanya Chaitamrita. I don't know if I can remember, but that verse says that. कृष्णा भूलिया जीव भोग वांछा करे निकटे माया तारे झपटिया धरे. So when because we want to turn away from Krishna, and we want to become a controller, we want to lord it over of this material nature, then the Maya comes and grab you. And when Maya grabs you, it's very very hard, right? We pick up our beat bag and then we think, okay, so many things will come in our mind, so we cannot even chant. And this is the simplest way to attain that amrita. And what is that word? Amritatva kalpate. So that is how in this verse has been explained that we have to attain that liberation, attain that amrita, right? How we attain that amrita? To execute the principle of Krishna consciousness. And the simplest method is as inaugurated by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, you go on chant, okay? You say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So with this chanting alone, I mean, including me, I am not an exception here. So we also try to see, okay, once our round is done, we just keep our feedback and we don't look at next till the next day, right? But this is the mantra which is going to give us that Amritatvaya, immortal life. But because of our great taste in chanting, right? How much we have a taste, we just just finish our round for the day and just keep the feedback. But we have to understand that we want to execute our duty, so we cannot say, okay, I'm sick today, I will not chant my round. That doesn't work like that. So that's this verse is saying, either you're happy or you're distressed. You have to aspire for immortality, right? Aspire for the lotus feet of Krishna. Once you surrender, then once you surrender to Krishna, then you get that life of Amritatva Kalpate. And also, I just would like to also mention about, just teachings of Prahlad Maharaj. So, unless we have got our aim, what is the target of our life? What is the value of this life? That that we need to understand. That is called Amritatva. If we do not understand what is the value of life, then it is very difficult. So Prabhupada also says that in this world, there is no institution which is telling about that. They are just producing the students which might be doing good at their material life. But how about the spirituality? So, okay, let's say if somebody is a CEO of a company, but he doesn't know actually who is he or who is she, then what is the point of executing? If he has millions of dollars in the bank and he dies or she dies, then what's going to happen? This just going to be keep there in the bank. Sometimes Prabhupada also says that sometimes people think that, okay, I have this much. I was hearing Prabhupada and he was saying this, I am having so much bank balance, so I'm very happy. No, that doesn't work like that. You have invested so much of human energy. Like, human energy should be utilized to acquire the immortality, Amritattva. It is very useless. It's just just getting some little drop of the, it's not a nectar, even little drop of the poison, you can say. Because sometime when we are having so much money, why we think that we need to go to the shelter of Krishna? Okay, I have so much money, I'm very happy, I have a big family and I have a big bungalow, like that. So that sometime can interfere in reaching Krishna. But Prabhupada says that that is most unfortunate. If we think that that money which we are acquiring, okay, I am very satisfied thinking I have this much in my bank. So that is very unfortunate if we do not aspire for the highest value of life. So Prabhupada also says that the modern institution, they are teaching what they are teaching. They are teaching to become to work like an animal and to die like an animal. Very, very strongly Prabhupada speaks. So because what we do most of the time, we behave like cat and dog, doing the four kind of activities, and then we also just die like them, right? We don't inquire about that. And also Prahlad Maharaj, he speaks very nice words. I really like this series of words. I'll just say Nate vidhu swartha gatim hi vishnum durashaya bahirartha manina andhaya tandhera upaniyamanas tepi shatantradam murudam nibadha. So when Prahlad Maharaj speaks at words, does anybody want to give a background so that just I'm not speaking, you are also contributing? Does anybody want to say when Prahlad Maharaj speaks his words?
What does it mean?
Okay, this verse means that Mataji Nate Vidhu. I mean, we don't know. We don't know what is the most of the people don't know Swartha. What is our self-interest? Our self-interest is to Gatime Vishnu, means to attain Vishnu. That is our self-interest. Dura Shaya ye Bahir Artha Manina. So what they think is whatever is external, whatever is our apart from Vishnu, whatever is our external life, that is they think that it is very, very valuable. But is it very valuable? Being a devotee, at least we understand that no, that is not valuable. But Prahlad Maharaj speaks this verse and he says, Andha yata andhe rupani amana. So what happens? We are blind and we are following the other person who is also blind. We have made a leader who is also blind. Because why he is blind? Because he also doesn't know the value of life. So what happens when we follow, suppose a person has to cross a road, he if he takes a help from the other person who itself is blind, it might happen that they might come into an accident, or there might be a ditch which they fall down, right? Because they both cannot see. So similarly Prahlad Maharaj speaks that we are blind and we have taken shelter of them who are themselves blind. And then what happened? Te pisha tantradam urudhamni banda. Then they come because they do not know what is the ultimate destination is Vishnu, and they have taken the shelter of the similar person. So what happens, they have come binding te pisha, very strongly with the this ropa, right? This guna is also the ropa, material modes of nature. So they will be bind with this ropes of material nature, and they come again and again into this material world. So but does anybody know what is the background for this? Anybody want to share?
Can I tell?
Hmm?
Can I tell?
Yeah, Tulsi can try.
So he says when Hiranyakashipu was angry.
Okay, thank you. So what happens actually, Prahlad Maharaj, first, I think if I can remember, so first time when he asked, right, what did you learn? Then he speaks about the verses. But, second time it also happens. Then first time actually Hiranyakashipu just laughs and he think, okay, some person is coming and spoiling, he's saying spoiling because he's a demon. But Prahlad Maharaj is speaking about the devotional service. Actually, he is only spoiled, and he's thinking that okay, somebody is spoiling the mentality of my child. It happens, right? The demon think that way, right? If our kids will do bhajan, then how do will progress in material life? That is so useless to speak, because if they do the bhajan of Krishna, then what is their rest for them? If Ananya Chinto Yanto Mam, why the people actually think about what will happen. Actually, when you hear Prabhupada, right, Prabhupada is very, very amazing. So Prabhupada says that, okay, some people, sorry, I'm diverting, but I just really want to say this because Prabhupada says that if some people, they go to the temple or the church and they say, okay, God, please give me my bread. right? They say like that, you might be hearing, but at least these persons are better than the atheistic who are not accepting the authority of the Lord or anyone. So, but Prabhupada says, okay, if somebody is engaging in his service, do you think Krishna is so ungrateful that he'll not provide for his bread? So that's the reason why the pure devotee doesn't ask anything from the Lord, because he doesn't have to ask, because he knows that Krishna will provide. He is doing 24 by 7 Krishna's bhakti. Then how can it, do you think Krishna is so ungrateful that he will not provide? I really like this, he mentioned, and I just got reminded of this. So like that, so that's why the pure devotee doesn't ask anything from Krishna, even for his bread. He will not ask, okay Lord, give me the food, right? Give me the food for the day. He doesn't ask like that, because he knows about Krishna is not so ungrateful. Krishna is very, very merciful. So coming back to our story of Prahlad Maharaj, so he second time when he asked, then he says, actually he also mentions that, where are you getting this much power? He's so bold. Prahlad Maharaj, just a 5-year-old child, and he's saying to his father, that Asurya Varya Dehinam. He's saying like that, to his father. He's saying that, oh, best among the demons, yeah, you are the bestest. Yeah, I mean, if you have to say, you're the best of the fools, like that, you're the most fool. So like that he's saying, oh, best among the not oh, best among the demons, like that he says to his father, so bold. And this Hiranyakashipu is wondering, how this small, I mean, all the demigods is fearing of me, excluding Vishnu, Brahma and Shiva. How come this small boy, he got so much power? Then he says, I am getting the power from the same source where you are getting from. That's Prahlad Maharaj also speaks to his father. But you do not recognize from where you are getting your power. He was so bold, he'll say so many things to Hiranyakashipu. So, and that's all true. He say he doesn't, it is not like that he's disrespecting his father. He's saying the truth. It has been mentioned that he'll also pay his obeisances to his father, but he's speaking the truth. But he doesn't like, because he's a demon, and he think I am the controller of the universe. But other controller is talking about, I am the controller, right? So but he knows how much controller, how much big controller is he is not able to control his 5-year-old child. He doesn't have to control. Prahlad Maharaj is so exalted devotee. So he says that, most of the people, they do not know. And then he says, how do you are learning this? So Prahlad Maharaj doesn't say, he speaks these words. And then he says, who cannot get, first of all, people don't know the Gatim is Vishnu. And then he speaks the other verse in line with that, Materna Krishne Parata Sato Va Mitho Vipayate Tagraha Vratanam Adanta Gobi Vishitam Tamishram Punha Punha Charvita Charvananam. So this verse says that the matir, the mind, it cannot be, you cannot become Krishna conscious by the effort of your own self or the effort of the other person. How you cannot become? Because you are so attached to what? Graha Vratanam. You're so attached to this material conception of life. You're so attached to this material home, or just this material world also is a material home, right? So just as a whole, you are so attached to this material world, you cannot attain to Krishna consciousness. Your mind cannot be diverted to Krishna. Why? Because you have uncontrolled senses, Adanta Gobir. And with this uncontrolled senses, you will open the door for hellish life. Tamishram is Tamishram is one of the hell. So you are, what you are doing, because you have so many uncontrolled senses, you cannot be turned towards Krishna. And he says, Punha Punha Charvita Charvananam. Then you come again in this material world, again and again and again. And what you do? You chew the chewed, right? Let's say, you chew the chewed means whatever you're already chewed, you are chewing on that. So we have done all these things in all our lifetime, but we are chewing the chewed. That's what we have to do when we come into this material world, right? A child born, he start with ABCD. Do you think if he had if he had a birth earlier as a human being, he didn't learn ABCD, he didn't get married, he didn't have children, he didn't have husband, he didn't have wife, so many things. But here he says he will come again and again. And then he also speaks about how can you get the Krishna Bhakti. How do you attain the Amritatva? So he said, Nesham mati stavad uru karmangiram sparshati anartha pamagoho yadartaha nishkinchananam pado rajo abhishekam mahiyashaham na varnita yavad. So he says that how do you attain? So he attained that. How do he attain? He attained when once he take the dust of the lotus feet of the nishkinchananam. What is nishkinchananam? Means who doesn't have any material possession, that person who is a pure Vaishnava. So unless we take the dust of the lotus feet of those Vaishnavas, or in other words, what does that mean is we follow the instruction of those devotees, we cannot attain Krishna consciousness, or we cannot attain to the Amritatva. So I would like to stop here because I see it's already 7:47. Anybody has anything to share? Any comment? Any realization? Any questions? I think we have spoken more of-
Mataji, can I tell you a question, Mummy?
Okay.
So
Yes.
my question is, Mummy, so that I act the class, and why Prahlad Maharaj says to Hiranyakashipu that you do Krishna Bhakti?
He is not saying Krishna Bhakti. Actually, he got this Krishna Bhakti from Narada Muni, right? So when he was in the womb of his mother Kayadhu, Narada Muni speaks about the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he was for long time in the womb of Kayadhu. He was hearing this, and he got this from Narada Muni. But because he is asking, no, who is teaching you, how you are getting this devotional service or the bhakti of Vishnu? So that's why Prahlad Maharaj is not directly telling the name of his spiritual master, but he is telling how you get it, and he's telling how or who cannot get it, like that he mentions. Okay.
So I want to mention something. So as Prahlad Maharaj mentions that that I got bhag. So Hiranyakashipu, why he thinks that how he gets so much strength?
Sorry, Tulsi, can you repeat your question? I didn't get it. Sorry.
So my question is, why is Hiranyakashipu thinking that my children is getting so much wealth?
So much strength, not the wealth, the strength. So what happens, because Prahlad Maharaj is so bold, right? He'll say that every time when Hiranyakashipu asks, he always speaks about the Vishnu Bhakti, but he know his father is the best of the demon. The best of the demon means who will be Asura. Asura means who is not the devotee of Vishnu. Sura means who is a devotee of Vishnu. So when Prahlad Maharaj speaks always about Krishna Bhakti or Vishnu Bhakti, then this Hiranyakashipu got really frustrated, and he was thinking, who is spoiling my child, my child thinking. Then he's asking how you are getting so much strength, because all of the think about all of the demigods, Indra, Varuna, Chandra, all of the demigod will do whatever Hiranyakashipu want. If Hiranyakashipu want wind blow this way, so wind will blow this way, not this way. So like that, everybody used to follow his order very strictly. Excluding from the three demigods, it has been mentioned in the Bhagavatam, all of the demigods are very, very afraid of him. So that's why he's saying, okay, this 5-year-old boy, right, 5 years, very small, how he became so much bold that he's speaking in front of me like that. He's not afraid of anything. If I if Hiranyakashipu come with a sword also, he's not afraid. And you know that he tortured Prahlad Maharaj. Yesterday also we heard the example of Haridas Thakur or Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj was having given so much, his father has done. It has been mentioned in Bhagavatam. So he has been thrown, he has been put into the pit of the snakes, or so many things. But Prahlad Maharaj was always remembering Vishnu, and that's how he is getting so much strength. So he's telling the source is same, because demon also is getting the strength from Vishnu, and Prahlad Maharaj also getting the strength of Vishnu. The difference in both of them is that Prahlad Maharaj is recognizing the source as Vishnu, but the Hiranyakashipu is not recognizing. That's the difference, because the demon think I am the controller. I hope I am able to answer your question, or if anybody want to add, they can.
Yes, that is right.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Anything to add, to correct, to share? Please go. So I don't think so. I'll start another verse because it's 7:51 already. Anybody wants to add anything? Any corrections?
So that verse that you spoke from the Bhagavatam, where parents and teachers, they have a responsibility towards their students or children, right? I mean, how much is, I mean, how does that, if you do not fulfill that responsibility, how will that affect you?
Mataji, actually, I think Pyare Prabhu can add to that on more, or Jiva Mataji. But what I understand, because I think what Rishabh Dev is wanted to, because it's been a long time, I might not be able to recognize, I mean, recollect. But I think Rishabh Dev is saying, because we should not beget the child as a cat and dog. You know, some people these days, what happened, nobody follow the process of begetting. You know, that's why all the generation in this word is called Shudra, right? Shudra. So Prabhupada says that everybody in this Kali Yuga is Shudra, because the parents, you know, they are not following the Vedic method of begetting the children. So what's happening? Either the children has been beget if the parents are intoxicated, or if the parents want to enjoy, or so many things, right? So I think this verse, what it does is it directly tells us that we should not beget the child out of all these things. If we want to beget a child, we have to follow a certain Vedic method, where what happens at that time, the parents are able to invoke the, this is also called a yajna. So parents are able to invoke the child, a devotee child, or a child who has affiliation towards the Lord. So but if the parents say not in a proper consciousness, then they cannot invoke the proper child. Then any soul can take shelter, right? Whoever the soul may be in the previous life. But there are more chances, or I think most of the time, if this Vedic system has been followed, then parents are able to invoke the soul which is desiring to do the bhakti of the Lord, like that. So I think it also depends on the past karma, Mataji. I think Pyare Prabhu can add more if he would like to. Shiva Mataji, Pyare Prabhu, would you like to add to Gita Mala Mataji's question, please? I see Pyare Prabhu, but I don't know if.
Me? Oh.
Well, I would say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Mataji, right? Give them the facility, but
That is said a lot in our household.
It's the parents' duty to offer the opportunity for their children. And that's the consciousness with which one should enter into household life and into parenthood and enter into the position of responsibility like that. That's the consciousness. But of course, we can't force. Everyone's an individual. We just try our best. Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's a good phrase. You can take a horse to water, but you can't make it
yeah,
drink.
that's a very nice example. Yes,
Yeah.
because you can give them the environment, but as also I mentioned in the class, also when they become young, you don't know what they're up to, right? What they are going to do. So because they're more free to act their own way when they become young. So
Thank
if
you.
there are no more comment and questions, then we can be ready for Rasraj Babu's quiz, if is there today. Rasraj Babu, is there quiz today?
Yes, Mataji, are we ready?
Yeah, I think I don't think there is more comments or questions. Can go for the quiz.
1 second. Give me 1 second. I'll do it in 1 minute. All right. Okay, it will be there. Here we go. Okay, question number 4. There is a typo. It's like who should never become a father or mother.
Got 100% correct, Prabhu, so they understood. So far, 3 people answered, Prabhu.
Yes.
It's okay. बीच में बता डिस्टर्ब मत करो.
Can you tell how each individual did on the test?
I mean, you mean to ask like who answered which like that? Yeah, I think I can do, but not directly, Prabhuji. I have to pull from the report.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry, I really missed pretty much your whole class, but I took the test anyway.
Did you pass?
I don't
You
know.
have to check now.
Okay.
Yeah, I came in late, so it works out.
This is the way I did it throughout my whole school year.
I just blindly hit some things too, which might be totally wrong.
Rasraj Prabhu, I was not able to go further. Only fourth question I got stuck. I don't know why.
Maybe you're not seeing scroll down, Mataji?
No,
And Prabhu, I didn't get the poll at all, Prabhu. I couldn't see it.
How did you join, Mataji? Through app or
Zoom only. Zoom, yeah. And
app or web?
Zoom.
app.
Oh yeah, Zoom. I know, but sometimes we can. I don't know. People are answering, Mataji. I see till now 11 out of 15. I got 11 responses.
I think, Prabhu, when you first start, I immediately have to click, I think. So I didn't do that, so it went away.
Oh, is it? Maybe that I don't. Could be that.
Well, for me, I mean, I'm at the fourth question and it's not letting me go anywhere. Okay.
I don't know, Mataji.
I failed. Anyway.
We will ask you question, Mataji, no problem. You'll not fail. Don't consider you failed.
I loved his answers for who should become a father. Those answers were
Yeah,
really
CEO
fun.
of the company. Or the one who doesn't get time to play, then all of the problems will be here.
That's a good one. Not a bad idea that you shouldn't be a parent. But you don't have time to play with your kids.
Then all Mataji will agree here that Prabhuji's.
Right. Yeah. Even by that token, I think I shouldn't have become a parent when my kids were little. I never had time to play with them.
All right. I think we have taken enough time. So I still see few are not answered. If you are answering, just let me know so that I can wait for a few more sometime.
Prabhu, don't wait for me because I'm not.
Okay, yeah, Mataji. If anyone else answering.
I think anyone taking this long is looking it up in the book.
All right, I think I can end now. Let's see, end Serpo. Okay, so the first question is, who is eligible for liberation? This is today's verse, which says that who is not disturbed by happiness and distress. And in the purport also Prabhupada says that one who is steady in his determination for the advanced stage of spiritual realization. So both second and third is the correct answer. And which elevated sannyasi personality's example is mentioned in the purport. So it is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhupada mentioned that who took sannyas at the age of 24. Yeah, I got a mixed answer. What does spirituality mean? I think today Mataji spoke a lot about immortality. Yeah,
stress that one.
Yeah, a lot on this. So achieve immortality. Okay, so this is at least 91% and correct. who should not? Yeah. So not that COE company. They can make it. Not that. That's great.
Even the last one is good. One who does not know parent.
One person has selected that, Mataji.
Yeah. I should have selected the second one who does not have time to play with your kids.
I mean, if you think that all looks correct, right? All four answer.
The CEO I could do without the first one.
CEO we can't make at least, but
but I never had time to play with my kids, so that's a good one.
So next verse is which verse the speaker quote to explain soul never die, and so anyone would like to guess which was the correct answer or answer out of these four verses?
No.
Najayate mriyate vakdachan, right? Yeah, that's what that. Nyayam bhutva bhavita
It's
bhavana
much-
bhoyaha.
no, I got that right without even hearing class.
I got that right too. I
3
think I
times
got
Harry Bol for Pyare Prabhu Ji.
I mean, yeah, it's like, thank you. And okay, so who did say that we are blind and we are following those who are blind? So what is the correct answer? Anyone would like to say?
Prahlad Maharaj, right?
Right. So that's what Mataji discussed today. Many beautiful verses about Prahlad Maharaj. Okay, think so. Pyare Prabhu, did you do this question correct? Pyare Prabhu,
Prabhupada could have said it too.
no. No, I got it right, Prabhu, but I'm not able to see the answers. You know, like first time when you did the quiz, I could see the answers that you're talking. But now I'm not able to. I got the correct answers, but I don't know what the other choices are. Because I don't see all 4 choices. I only hear what you're saying.
Oh, you didn't get the question itself, Mataji? The poll
No,
question?
Prabhu, I got the quiz. I got everything right. But when you're
Okay.
giving the answers, the first time
Okay.
when you did, you had those bars coming in, like the orange bar. You know, that's the correct answer. You could see all the 4 choices and which one you picked. Now I only know whatever you're telling me. I don't see anything on the screen.
Okay.
You can click on poll results and then it will pull it again.
There, if you see in your
What is
screen.
that?
There's a little.
I don't know the technology. I'm only hearing his answers. I got them correct, but I don't know what the wrong answers are because I don't see all 4 answers. I only hear the answer.
There's a little green thing at the top called poll results. You can click on that and it would pull it.
Oh, that's what I'm stupidly doing wrong. Okay, sorry.
I think next class I'll put some quiz on this Zoom.
No, Prabhu, you do one session, Prabhu. Why do?
I'll definitely fail. I'll definitely fail that one.
I mean,
Probably I'll get a 0.
we have been using for last 8, 9, 10 months, right? I will put the question on, okay, how to do what?
I'll probably get a 0 on that one.
All right, I'll put a question. How to mute?
You do a session and then you put a quiz, Prabhu.
All right. Okay. All right. This is the end of the. Thank you, everyone, for participating in the quiz. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Tulsi. Vancha
Vasinduvyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.